also who grew up, because he did not have or did not realize, and others also did not tell him that he was an eagle. And so he started living like a chicken. And chicks think that they can't fly. So he never tried, he never attempted. One day he saw a mighty eagle going across the sky, and he asked the other chicks, "Hey, who's that?" And the chick said, "Oh, that is the eagle. But you know, we are all chicks. We cannot fly." And therefore, that eagle, who was destined and born to win, spent all the life, thinking that it's a chick and conditioned to lose. I'm sure you must have seen that lovely film of Walt Disney Productions, The Lion King. Disney sometimes comes out with brilliant things. You think that it's only a cartoon character film. No. It had this wonderful message, The Lion King. When you realize what you are, I always tell my young friends that, they say, "Oh sir, this is my weakness." I said, "Do you know what is your biggest weakness? Your biggest weakness is not realizing your own strengths." Every one of us has something within us. But the problem is, we don't realize what is there within us, and we always lament about what we don't have or what we have possibly not achieved. And there lies the problem. Our biggest weakness is in not realizing our own strengths. There is latent, what's the meaning of this term latent in English? Who will tell me? Latent is hidden, right? Latent is hidden. Latent. There is, all of us have latent in us, something hidden. Now what is required to be done? Only place two letters here and there. How do you do it? Take the L in the place of T and take the T in the place of L. Latent will become talent. Talent. What is latent can become, bloom, prosper as your talent. And the day you realize that talent is latent in you, and you discover that. I always tell friends that, we must play the Columbus of our life. Columbus of our life means Columbus discovered America. But we have to discover our own life. What great thrilling opportunities are there all around us. What great strengths we have if we understand and appreciate. But the genesis, the foundation of all this is your self-confidence and self-esteem. So success starts from this self-confidence or self-esteem. So never ever underestimate yourself. Never think low about yourself. Be positive. Be confident. Have the positive mindset, and you're all set, friends, to achieve. All set. My friend Mansoori ji is here. There is, I talked about no one can predict to what heights you can soar. The great Urdu Shair, Iqbal, one of my favorite quotes I must have recited innumerable times here. My son tells me, "Papa, it's all by heart," from the time he was a young boy. Because he's heard it so many times. "सितारों से आगे जहां और भी है, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी है." And Iqbal reminds you, "तू शाही है, परवाज काम है तेरा." You are the royal eagle. Think that you are born to win. Tu shahi hai, eagle. Parwaaz kaam hai tera. Your work is to fly high up in the sky. सितारों से आगे जहां और भी है, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी है. तू शाही है, परवाज काम है तेरा, तेरे वास्ते आसमां और भी है. This is what should be the spirit of every young boy or girl, man or woman, whatever you like to call. Strategy number 2. You have the confidence, you have the esteem, then what? Second is practicing self-control. Practicing self-control. We started with mastering self-confidence. We now come to practicing self-control. This is very important, friends. Very, very important. Why? Because what happens, just as the weather keeps on changing, the problem with all of us human beings is that our mindset is also like a weathercock, Abhi charge up ho gaya, Mukesh bhai ko suna, bubbling, and then go home and watch something wrong or somebody tells you something, That's why we say that have good company, be in good surroundings, don't watch garbage, because if garbage is in, garbage is out, Gigo principle. Therefore, you have to, I'll come to that point as well. But you see, with all these ups and downs, which are natural, what do? A businessman, he knows that all days are not same. So just to protect his business or his assets, what does he do? What does he take? Insurance, right? A friend said insurance. Now, you have to also take insurance for your attitude. You have to insure your attitude. And how do you do that? Because if you don't insure your attitude, what will happen is gadbad. And therefore, they say that your attitude should control your circumstances rather than your circumstances controlling your attitude. See what happens when everything is going well, we are happy, stable, but then some turbulence comes and we get disturbed. But then if you have your attitude insured, and if you are stable, then your circumstances also will soon stabilize, or at least they will not be able to disturb you because you are insured. So insuring your attitude, just as you insure all your valuables, is extremely important, friends. And it has been very rightly said that we can't tailor-make the situations of life. Can we? We can't do that. It's only God, who is the master. So it's not in our hands. We can't tailor-make the situations of life. But we can certainly tailor-make the attitude to fit these circumstances. Even before the circumstances arise, friends, you can do that. You can tailor-make your attitude so that, and therefore, they say that you should learn to react positively even to the negative situations of life. Negative situations are bound to come in life. And this has in fact more to do with happiness. When I mentioned earlier that no one can make you unhappy without your consent, this realization will only come if you have insured your attitude. If somebody says something, you are not worried. Why do you get upset? Somebody calls you a gadha. Gadha. And, he called me a gadha, what does he mean? And your blood pressure goes up and that fellow, nothing happens to him. He is enjoying, in fact. And you, though you know very well that you are not a gadha, but because he has just called you, you think that because he has called you a gadha, he is a gadha and laugh it out. Gadha hi gadhe ko gadha kahega. And you know you are not a gadha. So don't worry about it. Don't worry, be happy. That simple little slogan, we just keep on shouting, but don't practice it. It is true, friends, if you learn to react positively to even negative situations, because what is attitude? The meaning of attitude is how we react. And they say that life is only 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to what happens. Life is only 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. The major problems arise from our reactions. But if you are cool, the cool dude as they say, it's a good compliment. If you are cool, it's fine. It's not that, you are insensitive. Jadi chamdi na chevu nathi. You also understand that, what's happening is not right. But then, because you have a positive attitude, you say, well, what's the point in my getting upset or disturbed about it? And if I get upset or disturbed, is it going to help? It is not. On the contrary, if I am cool, I would still be able to resolve the problem. I am in a critical situation, granted. But how do I resolve this? Not by excitement, but with a cool mind. I'll be able to do far better. This is, friends, what we call about the right attitude. And for this, you have to practice self-control. There is this lovely saying that we cannot direct the winds. See, imagine you are in the mid-sea, in a small little sailboat. The wind is blowing from whatever direction, and you know that that is your destination. That is your destination. If the wind was blowing from behind, you would easily be able to go there. No problems. But you have to go there and the wind is blowing from here. That's the toughest thing, because chances are that you will be dragged away there. So what do you do in that situation? You will set your sails. And your sails, if they are correctly set or wrongly set even by 1 degree, you will reach 10 degrees latitude north or south by that 1 degree of adjustment. So they say that we cannot direct the winds, but we can certainly adjust the sails. Can we not? Yes, we can. And so, the whole secret is, if we want to reach our destination right, we must know this art, learn this art, practice this art of setting our sails, irrespective of wherever the wind is coming from, not being disturbed by the wind. Because we know that directing the winds is not in our hands. If 4 people are shouting around me, I know I can't do anything to make them keep quiet. What is the best thing to do? I quietly walk out. That's a simple solution, right? So, friends, this is what you have to keep in mind. And you must also learn that your mind is a garden. See, in your garden, here is our young friend Pujan. Pujan, if in your garden you sow beans, would you expect to get potatoes reaped? Would you? Certainly not. If you sow beans, what will you get? Beans. You can't expect to get potatoes if you sow beans. Your mind is a garden. If you keep on sowing the negative thoughts, the garbage on your mind, how do you expect, the right things to grow? If you keep on watching 24 hours, all the wrong things on the idiot box, you are going, they say the rape of the mind, even the mind can be raped. It's not just the body. If you keep on raping a mind, fiddling wrongly with it. If I come to your home, and I bring a big heap of garbage, and I throw it on your floor, on your drawing room floor, marble granite floor that you have, a new floor, what will be your reaction? You will go furious on me, right? Oh, how come, Mukesh bhai, you came and you put garbage, maro aako floor kharab kari nakhyo, aate phalanu dhiknu, But then, friends, don't you realize that you are yourself allowing so much of garbage to be thrown on your minds, to be injected in your minds, day in and day out? We care more for those marble and granite floors in our houses, but we are not worried about our most precious possession, the mind. So much of garbage is going in. We keep on watching, listening, hearing wrong things. We keep on moving in wrong company. Is it going to help us? Do we realize this? Do we exercise self-control over us? Therefore, if you want the right attitude, you will have to practice self-control. Otherwise, friends, even the right attitude, just by thinking and thinking alone, you will never get anywhere. Self-discipline, many of us think that it is a punishment. It is perceived as a punishment. But no, friends, self-discipline is not a punishment. Self-discipline is not a punishment. It is, in fact, a gift that you are giving to your own self. And you have to accept your willpower. Because once you do that, then, this word discipline, I'm sure you know etymology, English etymology, comes from which word? There is a word disciple, that's right. Yeah. The word discipline comes from disciple. So, when you become your own disciple in the matters of your will, then you are exercising discipline. What is discipline? As I would like to put it across, is becoming your own disciple in matters of your will, your willpower. Everybody's will keeps on telling the right thing, but the problem is we don't listen. We defy, challenge our will, and against our will we go on doing things, and then they get into habits, wrong habits. But if we keep on listening to our will, if we keep on listening to our conscience, that is how you develop your willpower, and the more and more willpower you develop, you will be able to exercise better self-discipline. You will be able to ensure that you are ensuring your attitude rightly. So this was our strategy number 2. We go to the third strategy, friends, and that is injecting self-motivation. Injecting self-motivation. Now this is also something great and important. See, you have a 24 horsepower saloon car with you. With whatever great features the car may have, will it at all run without the fuel? No. Even a car needs a fuel to run. And for a human being like you and me, what is the fuel that we need in our life? That fuel, what we need is motivation. And if you really look at it, read all the success stories of some of the greatest people in the world, you will find that they had some or the other motivation behind them. Only when, you should have a goal, of course, knowing where you want to go. But having a goal alone is not important. You should have a positive attitude and a mindset. That is equally important. But that also is not sufficient alone. You need motivation to keep on charging up your battery, your mobile. Do you think that even the best mobile that you take in this world is just going to last without the battery being charged up? You will need charging up of the batteries from time to time. Similarly, friends, for human beings, you have to charge up yourself. And how do you charge up? Is by motivation. There are several techniques of motivation. And you find, speakers, you find sportsmen, you find artists. Go to a green room. Before the show, The artist is just moving around like this, talking to his own self, rehearsing the dialogues. What is the artist doing? He's charging up the battery, gaining motivation. The speaker, would be in those last minutes doing something. The sportsman, would be stretching out. Everybody does something for that motivation. And therefore, you also, friends, need motivation. And from where do you get the motivation? Where do you get the fuel? What is the fuel for your body, my friend? Food, very rightly said. The fuel for your body is the food that you eat. But you are not just the body, right? Are you just the body? No. What are you also? The mind and the spirit, the soul. Okay. Now, if any one of you is invited here and I ask you a question, my friend, when did you eat last? When did you feed your body? You say, Mukesh bhai has gone crazy. What a question he's asking. I would definitely have had my lunch, if not my evening tea. And probably, if I was doing a fast one time, I would have eaten, yesterday evening, and I'll again eat today evening. Suppose we do not eat one day, one of these young ladies does not get to eat for a full day, morning to night. You'll go home, Mummy, aaj to bilkul khawanu જ નથી મળ્યું, time જ નથી મળ્યો. I've just lived on air and water, and you make such a big show of it, because you have not fed your body. If I were to ask you, young friend, when did you last feed your mind? When did you last feed your soul, the spirit? Right? We all would be perplexed. And I am not talking of garbage, Yes, when you watch that idiotic program on the idiot box, you are no doubt feeding your mind, but it is garbage. And even any body, any sound body also. You like bhel puri, pani puri very much. I give you morning, afternoon, evening, bhel puri, pani puri. Again tomorrow the same thing. Eat, Baba, you like it very much. Third day, fourth day, fifth day you will start vomiting. No more pani puris and bhel puris, Your most favorite dish will become your most hated dish. Overdose, no good. So even garbage, it's fine. Entertainment within limits is fine. But entertainment alone is also not going to take you anywhere. Friends, we all need to ask ourselves, are we doing the right things to feed our mind and soul? And what is food for the mind and soul? Can you give me some examples? What is nourishing food? We're not talking of garbage food. Nourishing food. What is nourishing food? Reading an inspirational book, listening to a motivating lecture, watching maybe a sort of encouraging, person, coming in touch with something. These are the things which are very essential, which are the food for our mind and spirit. Unfortunately, we don't feed them. If we keep on feeding them, let me tell you, friends, the best thing, whenever you are in a state of depression, and everybody gets, nobody is an exception, and everybody has his ups and downs, the best thing is when the battery is down, charge up the battery with the power. When your battery is down, don't just keep on lamenting. Take a good book, take a nice music, take an inspiring tape, do something, go out for a stroll. Even that will relieve you. Even sometimes you're very tired, exhausted, depressed, taking a deep breath, closing your eyes and then opening it. Don't you feel the difference? Even those few moments of peace within yourself. And what is yoga after all? People are crazy about it, it's fine. It's something very important. But after all, what is the essence of it? It is all rejuvenating your body, mind and spirit. So friends, this is how you inject self-motivation. And if you do it right, it will work wonders. It will work wonders for you. That brings me, I think we are getting close to the time. It brings me to the strategy 4. And that is programming, self-conditioning. You have to condition yourself and programming it. If you have not read it, friends, I would advise every single young person to read, which I consider as one of the most motivating books. And it is, in a way, a book which you can just finish in an hour, but go on reading for years and years together. It's a small little tiny booklet. As a Man Thinketh, by James Allen. Written more than 100 years ago. James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. In fact, there was a time when even that book was not available because, there was problem about, whether there are any copyrights, the author is no more, who was the original publisher, and fortunately all those problems were resolved, and you find this book here, there and everywhere now. But this James Allen, the golden statement that he has made, I've also compiled that passage in my book, Inspirational Gems, says, the vision that you glorify in your mind, the vision that you glorify in your mind, the ideals that you enthrone in your heart. Beautiful English, This is what will build your life. This is what you will become. What a fantastic statement he has made. Therefore, friends, if you have that vision, if you have that ideals, if you have that motivation, you will 100%, no doubts about it, achieve what you have to. And for that, friends, for achieving self-confidence, for practicing self-control, and for getting through self-motivation, you have to, friends, do this conditioning. Conditioning. And how do you condition yourself? The conditioning comes through developing and nurturing the right habits. When habits become your lifestyle, good or bad, both ways, that is what really takes you. When you get set into something, you don't even realize what you are doing. Do you realize, when you have to start learning a bicycle, you are so conscious, or when you see, with that L board, those four-wheelers, and you laugh, because that fellow is just driving like this, just looking like this, nowhere around. Even if anybody is, like this. Why? Because so conscious. And once you have mastered the art of driving, then you can use your mobile, which you should not, but you do it, no problem, safe. You are thinking of 100 things, but from Vatwa you will reach to Bhopal or Satellite without even realizing how many traffic lights you have crossed, because always this is all your sixth sense. Your system is working. It's all conditioned. It's all conditioned. We have the amazing powers within us. But once they are conditioned, then they work. So, perhaps the paucity of time does not permit me to do all this. We'll talk about this subject because each one of the strategies is a subject in itself. I can talk with you about 2 hours on each of them, easily. But I want to give you an example, friends, that you have to, for conditioning, unleash the powers within you. See, the big problem is we were talking about the strengths. We don't realize what powers we have. We have more power within ourselves than even the atomic energy. And I'm sure, we have very eminent philosophers and psychologists from the Gujarat University. My friend professor is sitting here. He'll agree. It is a human study which says that majority of us are not even using what percentage of our brain? Not, it's anybody, but certainly nobody has said double digits, so it's all single digit or in decimal points. Let's not get into that controversy. But the problem is, even the Nobel laureate may not be able to claim that he is using more than 10% of his brains. If he is 9.99, he is superb, and others are in decimal points or maybe 1 or 2s. So we have these amazing powers within us. If we can unleash them, if we can unlock the hidden potential that is within us, then, friends, it will work wonders. And there is a gold mine within you, more than 10 times of its own weight. If you have a 1 kilogram magnet, that magnet can easily lift 10 kilograms of an iron object. Where does the power come from? That magnetism. Otherwise, without that power of magnetism, that iron does not even have the strength to lift even a single feather. Right? So, friends, this is the magnetism, like kind of power, the atomic energy within you. And if you keep on conditioning yourself, and then you program yourself into this, and this programming comes through developing the right kind of habits and systems that you do, you can work wonders. Whether it is time management, it is work management. We talk about success. What are the attitudes of success? If I am a 0 in time management, can I ever be successful? No. If I am lethargic in my work management, will I ever achieve success? The answer is no, right? So all these things, and then time management and work management, sometimes we ask somebody, how can you do all this? Everybody has the same time, 24 hours. Has God given anybody 48 hours? No. God has given 2 hands to everybody, 2 legs. You must have heard that lovely story. A person thought that he's gone broke, because nadar thai gaye. He was penniless, and he was lamenting about it, and went to his friend. I am totally gone broke. I don't have a single penny. His friend said, well, don't lament about it. If you want, you still have something, let's barter for that. He said, what? He said, okay, I'll give you, a lakh of rupees. Give me your 2 hands. The fellow says, no. I'll give you 5 lakhs. Give me your 2 eyes. Never. I'll give you 10 lakhs. Give me your brain. And then he went on until the man realized that he had assets worth more than 1 million with him. With his 2 hands, 2 legs, with his eyes. It's only when you don't have it that you realize the value of what you have. Unfortunate. What we have, we don't realize. It's only when we don't have. There is this beautiful little couplet. A man was in the blues because he had no shoes. Being in the blues means, you understand, he was very unhappy. A man was in the blues because he had no shoes, until he saw a man on the street who had no feet. Only when I saw a man on the street who had no feet, I said, chalo baba, butta જ નથી ને, બાકી તો સલામત છે. So, friends, this is what is important. Programming, self-conditioning. And the last strategy, and then I'll wrap up with the 2 laws. The last strategy number 5, is very important. Self-empowerment. Self-empowerment. See, because after everything that you have, if you are not self-empowered to do things, how would you do it? And that self-empowerment comes from what I call always with this single phrase that you have to remember: in tune with the infinite. A man is never, never, ever complete until he is in communion with the Almighty. And I must understand, even the greatest of the Yodhas, Arjun, put down his Gandiv, and it needed a Lord Krishna to charge him up, and came the Bhagavad Gita. So, that empowerment, friends, I tell you, people think, क्या फर्क पड़ता है भगवान को याद किया नहीं किया. I'm not asking you to do those funny rituals, friends. I'm sorry if I'm being offending, but no. Well, rituals have their own place, and those who have faith in them, we must respect their faith. But the point is, I am not asking you for idle rituals. Just because you walk down to a temple and do a tila, tika and come back without feeling any emotions about that, that's no good, it's dikhava. But even without going to the temple, with your inner faith in God, if you can do a 5 minutes prayer and derive the power from the supreme powerhouse and empower yourself, they say with the faith in Lord Almighty, you can walk on mountaintops. You can walk on mountaintops. And why, let me talk about these last two laws, friends, and then wrap up on this subject. Now, Mr. Palsati, just last 4-5 minutes, and because we have to end at 8:15. I did it, we had originally thought of question answers, but I think I brought in the question answers as part of the talk. So we've done that part of it. The law of timing, friends, that's the third law. I talked about the two laws, the law of giving and the law of relationships. The law of timing. And this law of timing is important because, you get your sometimes we are at a total loss to understand what to do in life. And we think that we have no solution, no answer to things. At that time, if you have faith in Lord Almighty, and Lord Almighty operates to your own conscience or the superconscious powers within, or whatever you may like to call it, it's again a science and a subject on its own, you will get a spark from within. Because the law of timing, these 4 sentences are worth remembering. That a wrong action at a wrong time leads to disaster. If you find a disaster, then you will definitely come to a conclusion it was a wrong action taken at a wrong time. A wrong action, even though taken at a right time, it gets into a mistake. That's a mistake. A right action, the action may be right, but taken at a wrong time will meet with resistance. See, we many a times find, we say, what is wrong with this? Why is Papa, Mummy not accepting? Because the time is wrong. Timing placement. So, even a right action at a wrong time meets with resistance. But a right action taken at the right time is what achieves success. A right action at the right time is what achieves success. So friends, this self-empowerment, this communion with God, when you are in tune with the infinite, many a times your problems are resolved in your prayers. You have to experience that. And you have to leave it to Lord Almighty, that this is, you are my partner. I think I have also talked on these forums, one of my very favorite quotes. Lord, help me to remember that nothing ever is going to happen today which you and I together cannot handle. People who see Lord as their life partner. Mirabai was never worried. Narsi Mehta had no problems. Why? They had that immense faith in Lord. And many a times we find those dramatic situations, a person going to the temple, "Are Bhagwan, tu શું કરે છે? તું કઠોર થઈ ગયો છું, મારું સાંભળતો નથી, I am in such great difficulties." But then, you don't even understand sometimes. His ways are unique. So you have to have that patience, and he wants those patience also to be cultivated in you. Probably he's testing your skills. But anyway, what I was trying to say is this is the law of timing. And I already referred to earlier, that's the law of dynamism. Your ability to adapt to situations. When I gave you that quote, that we cannot direct the winds, but we can certainly adjust our sails. And you don't have to wait for your ship to come in. Many a times we are just waiting for opportunities. No, friends. You have to seize opportunities. As George Bernard Shaw very well said, that people blame their circumstances. He said, I don't like these people. I want people who create their circumstances, who are the creator of circumstances and not the creature of circumstances. So that is, if you have these law of dynamism, and friends, this last strategy which I was saying, self-empowerment, particularly to every young friend sitting here, I wish to appeal to you, friends, in this world of materialism. I don't expect you to practice dogmatic religion if you don't believe in it. Please, don't worry about that. But at least go in for meaningful, logical spiritualism. Spiritualism is something that allows you to understand and get into communion, in tune with the infinite, and that's for your own good. And if you understand these finer aspects of your relationship, of your soul and the Supreme Soul, let me tell you, that would work wonders. That would work absolute wonders. And I only want to conclude with this great quote of the Bhagavad Gita. But before that, two small little couplets. I was coming up here and there are two of my young friends who keep on coming to listen to my talks because they love these shares or shairis, which I am fond of. And they said, "Sir, hame do cheeze arz karna." And it's probably inspired and motivated by these two things. I mentioned to you about success and happiness, that don't equate it or don't value it in material terms. If you experience bliss and joy within, that is supreme success and happiness. And therefore a shair has very beautifully said, दुनिया में बहुत कमाया क्या हीरे क्या मोती, दुनिया में बहुत कमाया क्या हीरे क्या मोती, लेकिन ये मत भूल यार कि कफन में जेब नहीं होती. When you have to leave this world, nothing is going to accompany you. कफन को जेब नहीं होती, क्या हीरे क्या मोती. And therefore, I also end with this another share, We had that old song of the yesteryears, so I would remember. वो जिंदगी उसी की है जो और किसी का हो गया. The law of giving. The shair says, क्या पता कब मेरी मौत का पैगाम आ जाए, क्या पता कब मेरी मौत का पैगाम आ जाए और मेरी जिंदगी की आखिरी शाम आ जाए. मैं तो तलाश करता हूं ऐसे मौकों को, कब मेरी जिंदगी औरों के काम आ जाए. If that is the experience that you get, that you've done something good for somebody, that is perhaps the greatest form of happiness you'll get. And friends, that is the true road to achievement, to success. And therefore, in the final shloka of Gita, Lord has told Arjun, telling him this very message what probably dash I've shared with you, it's nothing original, friends. Let me tell you, whatever I've shared with you is what I have learned in my own humble little way, from what I have read, what I have been inspired, what I have experienced. And therefore I always owe it to others in all humility. But our supreme, and that's why perhaps we are the only management association in the whole country which for the last, I would say now, 12 years in a row, we've been organizing, as you know, annual weeks, open houses on Indian wisdom for management. See, we sometimes get crazy about these Napoleon Hills and Dale Carnegies without realizing what great, wealth is there in our own scriptures, in our own epics, in our own shastras. And the essence of what I have said today is in this shloka, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdara, where there is Arjun, Yoga, and where there is Krishna. And what is Krishna and what is Arjun? Symbolically, this shloka talks about Arjun is the effort, the perseverance, the hard work. That is what represents Arjun. And backed by inspiration, backed by the grace of Almighty, that is Krishna. So when Arjun and Krishna meet together, you have to consider them in terms of values. These characters, they represent eternal values. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdara, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. There is assured success, prosperity, and happiness for all time to come. I wish you and wish you in all bounties all the very best. Thank you, and thank you very much for coming and listening me this evening. Thanks a lot.
One second, please. Just 2 more minutes, that's all. Friends, let us thank Mr. Mukesh Patel for enlightening us to dash his 5 strategies and 4 laws. And we assure him that his advice has been taken note of for our future guidance. And let us also thank AMA for providing this opportunity. Professor John Ruskin said, "I will not teach anybody, I merely create conditions for learning." That is what AMA is doing. They are not teaching, but they are creating conditions for our learning to know more things. And finally, let me all thank you for sparing your time for learning Dash and to become a dashing personality. And finally, on your behalf, as a token of our affection and love, I present this memento to Mr. I hope you have enjoyed the talk. Thank you and good night.